Good day, BA25 student. Welcome back to our discussion on human resource management. Today, we will be focusing on recruitment. In our previous discussion, we covered the fundamentals of human resource planning, where we learned how organizations forecast their staffing needs and development strategies to meet them. Now, we will shift our attention to the next critical phase of HRM, which is again your recruitment. Now, recruitment are key process in ensuring that organizations bring the right talent. Our employees are the most important asset. We have heard this phrase many times from various CEOs, executive, business leaders, your managers, and even supervisors. Now, successful business rely on several different types of assets such as your financial capital, your real estate, production equipment, and powerful technology. But in today's knowledge-based economy, there is no question that employees are the most important asset of an organization. There are key to business success in today's world, and these are your people, your process, and the product. All these three aspects of your operations need to be in line to maximize your long-term profitability. But it is clear that people comes first because employees are the most important asset of an organization. After all, organizations are made up of people, and the way money, technology, information, and other resources are used depends on your human decisions. So, it is generally recognized that the success of any business is greatly influenced by the caliber and attitude of the people who work for it. Therefore, it is critical for organizations to hire the best and the right people. Hiring talented individuals is critical to organization's success in that every employee contribute to play a central role in the proper growth and development of an organization. Recruiting processes have a direct impact on organization's bottom line. A 2012 study found that employers that excelled in recruiting experienced 3.5 times more revenue growth and twice the profit margin of employers that were less capable in recruitment. Hence, finding the right person of the job is extremely critical. Much as a square peg would not fit in the round hole, the overall company performance may be influenced by a bad hire. So when we recruit the wrong applicant, the effect on your organization is always much more than not recruiting an individual at all. Therefore, it is critical for organization to hire the best and right people. Hiring the best people are available has never been more critical than it is today because of the economy and your global competition. Now, acquiring the right talent can be a challenging task, and employers must decide the type of people they want to attract, what recruitment message to convey, and how to reach targeted individuals. If done properly or poorly, an organization's recruitment efforts can produce a job applicants who are unqualified, also lack diversity, or may be likely to quit if hired. A poorly designed recruitment process can also miss highly qualified job candidates because they were unaware of a job opening. So recruitment is a critical strategy activities for the organization, again, not just an organization's activity. Hence, a good recruitment and selection process needs to be established. Now, the right process represents the professionalism of your corporation and portrays the sophistication of your company in recruiting and employing the right talent. A successful process helps to proactively build a talent pool, and this helping to achieve your medium and at the same time your long-term business goal. Now, your recruitment includes several stakeholders in your company, including your senior level employee, which can cost a lot in terms of time and even resources. Therefore, to satisfy the need of all stakeholders, one has to make sure that process is well defined and optimized. So every business needs to concern itself with recruiting, whether to fill a vacancy, staff a new position, or plan for succession of management. And so, recruitment and selection now constitutes the staffing function of management, and it focuses on making selection the right candidate for the right job. One of the main responsibilities of HR department is recruitment and selection. Now, we've already discussed before that in your introduction that hindi lang recruitment and selection yung activities or a rule na ginagawa. There are other HR operations in many fields such as your employee engagement, training, regulatory compliance, your data management, and many other functions. And that ang critical talaga is recruiting, yung selecting and onboarding your suitable candidate for the company. Again, is one and the main areas of emphasis for HR, because recruitment is a process of obtaining eligible applicants for a job position, and then selection is a process by which the best applicants for the job is found and chosen. Yan, recruitment selection is usually delegated to the Human Resource Management Department and being performed by recruitment selection specialists. And so, all HR managers and recruitment teams strive to hire the best talent. Recruitment selection constitutes the staffing function of management, and it's focusing on making selection for the right candidate for the right job. Now, in recruitment selection, it continues as the staffing function of management, and that scientific selection ensures the right man is selected for the right job. When the employees are selected, it needs to ensure they possess the essential education qualifications, competencies, and aptitude needed to carry out one's job duties efficiently. In trying to attract and hire the best qualified candidate, the whole activity is usually termed or called recruitment. Also, selection and onboarding. Okay, so onboarding a newly hired employee. Now, we might as well define each of these process. So let's take a look at first on the definition of your recruitment. So, your recruitment is a process of attracting individuals on a timely basis in sufficient number and with appropriate qualification to apply for jobs in an organization. So, this is according to Mondi and Martuccio 2016. For your selection is a process of choosing from a group of applicants the individual best suited for a particular position in the organization. And onboarding as a process of integrating a new employee with a company that its culture as well as getting a new hire, the tools, and of course information needed to become a productive member of the team. So let's now proceed with this slide. So when it comes to hiring process, it is not all about finding someone to fill the position immediately, such as a family member or even a loved one. Being able to dedicate time and resources towards filling positions with employees who are dedicated to the long-term success of a business is paramount to the longevity of any venture. Now, each person being hired brings something unique to the business, and it's important to seek out those with the best qualities. When you hire the right people in your organization, you've been able to gain the following benefit. One is your exceptional work output. Exceptional work output, which means that if you choose to hire people who have skills that are necessary and valuable in your company, you will see the work output increase. Not only are these employees better at what they do, but also they are able to find ways to make things faster, easier, and better. Another thing is lower training cost. Though some think that hiring cheap employees is a good idea, think about all of the training costs that the company will going to incur. So when you have to hire new people all the time, you have to pay them repeatedly to be trained. In addition, when this is the case, you spend money on time who just do not last or do not last. Moreover, talented employees may not need as much training time because, yun nga, they have already, meron na silang competencies or skills. Okay, so they don't need training as much as comparing to dun sa mga employees or candidate na wala pang ganong training. Allowing you to save the training costs in that way also. Another is, another benefit of if we hire the right person is, of course, more ideas. So, a new employee who is already talented and skilled will be one that will contribute, of course, new ideas to the company. They might be able to offer you an idea or a process that had not yet been considered, allowing you to benefit from their brilliance. Another is being role model. So bringing in new talent also causes others in the company to see if they can meet their level of excellence. If you have a company that is struggling to see growth in older employee, yung mga old na employees ninyo, bringing in a new talent can raise, of course, the proverbial bar of performance. Another is loyalty. So if you recruit someone who is talented and matched to the job, and you compensate him or her for his or her talent, you will be hiring a loyal employee. Pag nag-hire tayo or nakapag-hire tayo ng loyal employee, this means that you'll be around or they will be around for years to come and grow with the company as well. So kung papalarin ka, yung mga employees na yan, baka ikaw pa yung dyan pa sila magre-retire sa organization ninyo. Also, happier team members. So, the more talented people you have, the happier everyone in the company will be. Bakit? Because they know everyone is able to do their jobs and they are able to be as efficient as possible in their job. So, it makes everyone work on a more level playing field, which reduces burnout, frustration, and even boredom. Okay? So, therefore, by hiring the right person, the business will move in a positive direction and will become more successful in the future. And that managers and your business owners need now to be aware of the impact that the company can have and consider their impact throughout the hiring process. So, if you would like to experience this, you need to make it sure that you will hire the right person. So, since I'm able now to discuss your benefits, let's proceed now to the cost of a bad hire. Take note that no business owners wants to hire the wrong person for a job, not only because they'll need to find a replacement candidate sooner than they'd like, but also because making a bad hire drains energy and time, and of course can cost a business in a number of ways. So, according to research, the cost of a bad hire are the following. So, there will be 70% of a supervisor time or about 1 day per week will be spent managing a bad hire. Yan. So, again, na-mention ko kanina that when we have a bad hire, it drains us or it drains our energy. Another 30% of small business owners estimated that they waste over 50 hours firing a wrong candidate. And that also 37% of extra training costs result from bad hires as they need more time to adjust to the pace of the workforce. So that is how we view bad hires. Additionally, the negative impact on workforce. Ano pa ba yung cost of a bad hire? Recruitment, advertising fees, and staff time. The disruption that leads to project incompletion. relocation and training fees for replacement hires, lost customers, weekend employer brand, litigation fees, among others. So, yan. So, if or when you take all of these variables into consideration, the average cost of a bad hire can be astronomical. Okay? But again, here's the hard truth, no? We need to know that in every company, there will make meron talagang we can make but hires once in a while. But because there's no formula to guarantee that each person you onboard will be an asset rather than liability to your organization. However, if you treat recruitment with reverence and actively find ways to avoid bad hires, then you already stack the deck in your favor. So, yan. So, let's proceed now to the difference between recruitment and selection. So, again, pag sinabi nating recruitment, this is regarded as the art of discovering and procuring potential applicants for actual and anticipated vacancies within the organization. For selection, on the other hand, is the process involving screening of the candidates and then appointing the one who is the most suitable for the job, taking into consideration the needs and requirements of the job. So, in recruitment activities, we are looking into ano yung mga activities sa recruitment. So, one is analyzing job requirement. Two is, of course, you need to advertise the vacancy, which is this area where you are good at. Three is attracting candidates to apply. Another is managing responses, and also scrutinizing application and shortlisting candidates. On the other hand, let's proceed to the process of or the activities under selection. One is, of course, screening to eliminating your unsuitable candidate. 3 is conducting examination. 4, interviews. 5 is checking references. 6 is your medical test. Now, this selection process is obviously large time consuming steps in an employee's hiring experience. So, HR managers now must carefully identify the eligibility of every candidate for the post. Being careful not to disregard important factors including your education qualification, the background, and even their competencies. Now, these are the major differences between the two functions of HR alongside in meaning or the definition, approach, yung objectives, also your contractual relationship, your process, and your key factor. Yan. In short, to summarize, what are the differences between the two? Again, recruitment is the process of finding the candidate for the vacant position and encouraging them to apply for it. Whereas for selection means that you need to choose the best candidate from the pool of applicant. Also, recruitment is a positive process, whereas yung selection is a negative process. Again, pag sinabing positive, as much as possible, we need to attract more job seekers. Para later on, you've been able now to have a lot of options. Which selection na yan? Kasi nga, negative meaning magtatanggal ka na. Okay? Yung mga tingin mo hindi sila fit for the position that you are looking for. Of course, recruitment is relatively simpler. Recruitment has the recruiter paying less attention to scrutinize individual candidates, whereas the selection involves more thorough examinations, as you mentioned a while ago, dun sa mga activities, ang daming ginagawa sa selection. Another thing is, recruitment is less time consuming and less economical demanding comparing it to selection, na it involves wide range of activities which can result into a lot of resources needed. Also, in recruitment, communication of vacancy is done so through various sources such as the internet, magazine, newspaper, and many other more. Okay? For your selection, it assesses now kung sino yung suitable or appropriate for the position, which again, ang daming activities or stages na kailangang pagdaanan nung employee or the candidate applying for the position before iso na nga ma-hire for or ma-consider for that position. So, again, to sum it up, recruitment, what are the main purposes of recruitment? It should be, again, to determine the organization's present and future recruitment needs in conjunction with your HRP and your job analysis. It increases the pool of qualified job applicants at a minimum cost of the organization, help increase the success rate of the selection process by reducing the number of obvious underqualified or overqualified job applicants, help reduce probability that job candidates or applicants once recruited and selected will leave the organization after only a short period of time, meet the organization's responsibility including your legal, even your social obligation, increases organizational and individual effectiveness in the short term and long term, evaluate the effectiveness of various techniques and locations of recruiting all types of applicants. For selection, what is the main or primary objective of selection? Are the following. One is to help organizations make decisions about individuals who choose characteristics and obviously most closely match the requirement of. So let us now proceed with the discussion of our recruitment process. Recruitment and selection ideally starts with human resource planning or your workforce planning. So the human resource planning process determines if the organization will hire or not. And so when HR planning indicates the need for additional labor, organizations have several choices to make. This may be the first step in a full-scale recruitment and selection process. But sometimes, hiring additional employees is not the best method to obtain additional labor. So, it may be appropriate for an organization to consider alternatives to recruiting, such as, yung na-mention natin when we discuss your HRP, we have outsourcing or contingent labor. Ano pa ba? Instead of hiring regular employee, pwede yun yung option natin. If this is a temporary fluctuation in work volume, the simplest solution may be part-time labor or overtime by existing employee. So, the cost of recruitment and selection can be staggering. And so, hiring new employees should occur only after careful consideration and only when the organization anticipates a long-term needed for additional labor. So, careful HR planning must consider the overall growth prospect of the organization and accurate forecasting of future labor needs is important. So, recruitment and planning begins only when other alternatives has been considered and has been eliminated. Looking at this diagram, the recruitment and selection activities of the organization is being guided by the employment planning and your strategic planning process. The organizational mission is the guide for organizational strategy, as you can see on the screen, yung una, and that HR analyzes this task to be done and figures out how to organize those tasks into job. The next step is to determine how many workers are necessary to fill those jobs and the skills they need or the skills they will be needing. If the supply of workers exceeds the number necessary, HR must recruit or reduce the number of workers. If the supply of worker is less than the number necessary, HR must recruit more workers to fulfill the organizational mission. And so, human resource planning is one of the most important elements in a successful HRM program because it is a process by which an organization ensures that it has the right number and kind of people at the right place at the right time, capable of effectively and efficiently completing those tasks that will help the organization achieve its overall strategic objectives. Still remember that? Or is it familiar? Yes, because we discussed that in our Unit 4, your HRP. So next, let's proceed now here. So this will be a typical steps in recruitment and selection process. So a structure of recruiting and selecting employees. Let's proceed. So let me show you the typical steps in recruitment and selection process. And it's a fairly standard approach, and organizations may use something similar already. Yeah. And that every step is important in giving you the best opportunity to attract the best people with ability and of course potential. So ano yung una? Yan, nasa screen na. So we need first to determine where recruitment is necessary. How is this one work? So it may be that the vacancy can be filled in some other way. So valuable information can be obtained by conducting an exit interview with the person who is leaving. You can then look at how the post could be filled from within. So for example, if kailangan mo mag-redeploy or flexible working arrangement. 2. Analyze the job. How do we analyze job? So, adopting a methodology for job analysis, establish what is required for the post holder. Now, this provides the information you will need in order to specify the job and, of course, the person best suited for the vacancy. Next step is, of course, write a job description now or competency profile. So, again, yung unit natin, job analysis and job designing. Okay? So, dito napapasok. So, the job description states the purpose, responsibilities, and conditions of the job. Okay? The person's specification provides a framework of the qualities and abilities that best fit for the job. And, as an alternative to the job description, meron mga organizations, they are using competency profiles. And this states the competencies of the role rather than listing of a specific tasks and duties. So, kanya-kanyang technique yan of each of the other organization. Another is to decide now on most appropriate application and selection method. So, the common choice is between the application form and the curriculum vitae. Yung curriculum vitae, minsan sinasabi natin CV. Okay? And sometimes being called as your resume. So, again, application form, curriculum vitae, or even resume. So, you also need to decide at this stage how to select the candidate through paano natin sila i-select. Interview lang ba? Using other forms? Paggawa mo sa kanila yung different selection tests and many other more. 5th is to decide how to attract candidates. So, making decisions about how to market a vacancy is crucial. So, again, this is where you are good at. Yeah? It ensures you reach your potential recruits and mistakes can be costly. And of course, another step is market or advertise the job. Or, in short, market the job. So, once the decision on where to market has been taken, it is also important that you decide how to market. This means ensuring that any advertisement is fair and representative of both the job and your organization. So, ano ba yung mode or medium niyo on how to share this information or this job vacancy? Okay? So, dito siya belong. Ano pa ba? 7. Filter and shortlist applications. This means reducing the number now of applicants, a manageable number for selection. Now, if too few people are carried forward to the next stage, it restricts your choice. But then again, no adumat unay, it wastes your time and it could lead you to confusion. Kasi nga aduunay ti pagpilya mo dim amon no sino kadakwada iti piliem. Next, conduct selection tests and or interviews. So, the selection method now should have been agreed earlier. Dapat na-decide na kung anong yung papagawa sa mga applicants. So, that event itself must be well managed, not only to analyze the match between candidate and the job, but also to give good impression of the organization they may be joining. 9th na tayo. So, make decisions and offer. So, the decision about who to appoint must be based on the facts and evidences. Ba? Not gut reaction or instinct. No, sino iti kamti offer na, it's not or it should not be based on your instinct or emotion, but rather based on yung mga test na pinagawa mo sa kanila. And once the decision has been taken, the successful candidate can now be informed face-to-face or by a phone and always in writing. So, paano mo ba i-inform sa kanila that you are being considered and you will be you will be considered. So, through pwedeng patawag mo sila to come and meet you personally, or pag hindi naman, pwede ding phone to verify that they are being considered. But most of the time, nag-i-email sila. You're being considered for this position. Please report immediately to the HR office. So on, so forth. 10 is verification and background check. So this is important. Ayan. So references are usually requested once a conditional offer has been made and they are vital part of the selection process. Now, your background reference may be obtained from several sources. And some of the following resources may be more useful and relevant than others depending on the job for which applicants are being considered. So, ano ba yung usually na chine-check or bine-verify? So, usually your academic references. Okay? Ano yung tinapos mo? Meron ka bang tawag dito, honor, mga ganon. So, they're going to verify where you graduated, anong course na tinapos mo. Okay? Kasi hindi natin maiwasan that there are instances wherein dapat agpa sa itihaan nga usto nga document. So, kailangan natin yung i-verify. Of course, your work performance or your prior work references, they will determine or they will know how well you perform in your previous organization. Are you meeting the target or hindi? Okay? Your financial references also is important. Okay? There are organizations that they needed to look into yung mga loans mo and other. Okay? Law enforcement records. May kaso ka na ba before? Okay, so di ka din nakatadong or tawag dito clearances that you need to obtain. Ayan, NBI, police clearance. Okay, so kailangan yan. Dapat malinis ang record. And of course, personal references. How do you as a person? Okay, so again, references can obtain by either phone or even letter. Okay, to your manager or to anything or anyone that that could contribute with this particular stage. Also, on the 11th stage, your job offer now. So, submission of pre-employment requirements. So if the verification and background does not impose negative feedback from your previous references, organizations now can start to instruct the successful candidate to submit various pre-employment requirements. So there are few documents that you need on hand before your first day at work, such as ito yung mga usually na binibigay before ka pa mag-report. So we have your transcript of records or even diploma. Dalawa yan, kailangan. Your birth certificate. Ano pa ba? Yung SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig Teen. But there are organizations na sila na yung kukuha nito para sa'yo. But there are organizations na ikaw, okay? Or kayo yung kayo yung kukuha nito. Then ipapasa lang sa kanya. Other than that, your NBI clearance, police clearance, depende kung government or private yung organization na pinasukan mo. Your medical certificate also, indicating that you are fit for the employment. And obviously, to complete the picture, ito na, onboarding and training. So, a good start is essential if you want the person to be effective in their new role quickly. Ito yung kailangan natin gawin. So, through induction, helps to build loyalty and a commitment, thus increasing the chances of retaining that particular talent within the organization. So, this is how it looks like. These are your steps in recruitment. In-include na natin din also dito yung selection process. So, yan. Again, just to summarize, what we had discussed so far. Again, this is your typical recruitment and selection process. One is to determine whether recruitment is necessary. Kailangan bang mag-hire? Na-consider na natin lahat ng mga possible solutions, pero kailangan na talaga nating mag-hire. So, yun yung una. 2 is to analyze the job. 3, write your job description or competency profile and the person specification. 4 is decide the more appropriate application and selection methods. 5 is decide how to attract candidates. 6, market or advertise the job. 7, filter and shortlist applications. 8, conduct selection tests and interviews. 9, make a decision of who to hire. 10, verification and background check. 11, job offer and submission of pre-employment requirements. And lastly, your onboarding and training. So, these are your typical steps again. So, as you can see, from 1 to 12, it is a long and tedious process. But of course, the aim is to select only the best and culture fit candidate. So, if you are able to make up, na-employed ka, you need to be happy kasi nga you are able to pass this tedious process. Ang hirap and it's a very, very long process. Okay? So, again, as a manager, together with the HR, yun yung gagawin ninyo. Okay? So, the recruitment and selection process is a partnership and collaboration between the HR unit and the various line managers who requisitioned for the job vacancy. Yan. So, here, these are your typical distribution of recruiting responsibilities between the HR department and the manager in a larger organization. So, this table shows the typical distribution of recruiting responsibility between the HR department and your managers in a larger organization. Now, as you can see, the HR unit is responsible for forecasting recruiting needs, prepares copy for recruitment ads and campaigns, plans and conduct recruiting efforts and audits, and evaluates all recruiting efforts. Like, on the other hand, yung manager, ano yung task nila, ano yung rules nila. So, obviously, they need to anticipate the need for employees to fill vacancies, determine the KSA needed from the applicants. Kasi nga, they should know or they know better kung ano yung knowledge, skills, and abilities ng employee na papasok sa kanilang department or the organization. Assist in recruiting efforts with information about job requirements and review recruiting efforts and activities. Next na tayo is on the recruitment process. Now, again, I have already mentioned that the outcomes of the human resource planning process determines if an organization will hire or not. So, a vacancy may occur in two ways. One is when an employee resigns or even retires, dies, or discharged from the service, and two, when a new position is created as a result of expansion, restructuring, or reorganization. So, frequently, recruitment begins when a manager initiates an employee requisition. Okay? So, this one, a document that specifies job title, department, ano pa ba, the date of the employee is needed for work, and other details na essential for this matter. So, this information, the managers can refer to the appropriate job description to determine the qualification the recruited person needs, and that after that, the next step will be your recruitment process to determine now whether qualified employees are available within the firm, or yan yung tinatawag nating internal source, or no, awan talaga, if it is necessary now to look for external sources such as other organizations outside your organization, then you may. Because of the high cost of recruitment, organizations need now to use the most productive recruitment sources and methods available. Yeah. So, for recruitment sources, where qualified candidates are located, recruitment methods specify means to attract potential employees to the firm. Let us take a look into a different recruitment terms that are usually being identified before the actual recruitment efforts is being carried out. Because again, recruitment takes place in different labor markets that can vary on a great deal. So, learning some basic output or about learning markets aids in understanding recruiting. We have here one term is your labor market. So, what is your labor market? So, pag sinabi nating labor market, these are your external sources from which organizations attract employees. So, a labor market is the place where workers and employees interact with each other, and that here, employers compete to hire the best, and the workers compete for the best satisfying job. We have also understanding the labor market analysis is vital for or in recruitment. Now, in your labor force population naman, one of the components of labor market, by definition, your labor population includes all individuals who are available for selection if all possible recruitment strategies are being used. Yan. So, again, considers all offers who are offering their skills and services for employment regardless of the industry they are in. That is labor force population. We have also the applicant population. So the second component in the applicant population is your in this one naman, it is a subset of the labor force population that is available for selection using a particular recruiting approach. For example, the people who are looking for an IT, such as your graphic design and similar jobs, belong to the same applicant population, which is targeted by recruiters who are looking for this type of professionals. Another term is your
applicant pool. So, ano naman yung applicant pool? So, again, this is the third component. This is your applicant pool, which is the actual number of people who initially signified their interest to apply for a particular job by sending in their resume. Now, it may very well be considered the first part of the selection process where the recruitment department of a specific organization receives application and screens them to determine who advances to the next round of screening. We have also your individual selected. Okay, again, this is your fourth component, which simply means that individuals who've made it through the screening process and have been hired for the job. Okay, so of course, this is judged based on a number of factors, and the person is screened against a carefully determined set of qualifications. So, at least 4 recruiting decisions affect the nature of the applicant population. We have here your recruiting method. So, the first factor is recruiting method. These are advertising medium chosen and considering use of employment agency. Second factor is recruiting message. So, ano ba yung recruiting message? So, what is said about the job and how it is said. Third factor in applicant qualification required. Education level and the amount of experience necessary. So, this refers to yon. And last is your administrative procedures. Yan. Your administrative procedure is time of year recruiting is done, the follow-ups with applicants, and the use of your previous applicant files. So, in recruitment efforts, the decisions that are made about recruiting help dictate not only the kinds and number of applicants, but also how difficult or successful recruiting efforts may be. So, recruiting strategies entails identifying where to recruit, who to recruit, and what the job requirements will be. And that one key consideration is deciding about your internal versus your external searches that must be made. So, in your internal recruitment, this is of course the first decision in recruitment. Okay? So, again, most employers combine the use of your internal and external. But then again, let us first focus on your internal recruitment. So, this type of recruitment looks into getting internal sources to fill positions and encourages promotion from within. Yan. From within. And organizations promotion policy will have a significant effect on the recruitment process. If the open position is above entry level, it may be appropriate to promote someone already working for the organization. That many organizations use promotion from within as a motivation tool and a reward for a good work or longevity with the organization. So when employees see their co-workers being promoted, they become more aware of their own career opportunities, and that management should be able to identify current employees who are capable of filling positions as they become available, which means that this is helpful tool used for internal recruitment include human resource databases, job posting, and job bidding, and employee referrals. So, when choosing internal recruitment, there are advantages of it. One is it usually cheaper in terms of starting pay and faster to fill up internal vacancy. Paano naging faster? Ayan. So, saving time can be made since individuals with inside knowledge of how the business operates will need shorter period of training and time for fitting in. Yeah. So it provides employee morale as it acts as an incentive to all staff to work harder within the organization. Yan. It's cheaper. Saving can be made since individuals with inside the knowledge of how the business operates will need shorter period of training time to fitting in. It improves employee morale as it acts an incentive to all staff to work harder within the organization. And so from the company's point of view, the strengths and weaknesses of an insider will have been assessed, and it has potential then for a better success rate since the track record of employee is known. So, internal employees are already attuned to the culture of the organization kasi they are there already. So, alam na nila kung ano yung culture ng organization, how does the organization works. Okay, so no need for them to adjust. The organization is unlikely to be disrupted by someone used to working with others in the company. So, the organization will not be affected with this one kasi nga alam na ng employee na papalit of the ways and hows in doing business in the organization. Keeps property or propriety and industry knowledge inside the organization. However, there are disadvantages of internal recruitment. Okay, so the management will have to replace the person who has been promoted, creating the ripple effect that more jobs occurs as an employees are moved about. So, of course, nung na-promote di siya employee, masapol met nga ada sukat na. Okay? So, promoting from within may upset some inside the company, thereby lowering the morale of those not selected for the position. Deprives the company from getting fresh views and new ways of doing things. Kasi nga, again, no agapumet lang uneg di siya employees, tendency is that awan iti ma-contribute ng new perspective kasi nga taga-ija isuna. Okay? So, di siya ways and means nan on how to do the job, it will remain. Creates negative internal competition for the position, and an insider may be less likely to make essential criticism to get the company working more effective. So let's proceed with external recruitment. So many employers now prefer to conduct internal recruitment first and turn to external recruitment only if internal efforts are unsuccessful. So usually no sa dalang ag-decide nga internal no talagang awan nakita than outside. So, yon, external recruitment is hiring someone from outside, from the word external. Okay? So, if no current employee has been desired, wala yung tinitingnan nating qualification, candidates may be attracted from a number of outside resources, then employers use external recruitment to attract individuals with, of course, necessary skill sets that are not found in-house. Wala yung mga skill sets na hinahanap mo dun sa mga tao na meron ka ngayon, or when seeking to grow the business or take it in a different direction. So at times, a firm must look beyond its own borders to find employees, particularly when expanding its workforce, and that external recruitment is needed to 1. Fill entry-level jobs or acquire skills not possessed by current employees, and of course 3. Obtain employees with different backgrounds to provide a new diversity of ideas. Kaya other organizations opted to recruit outside. So these are the advantages of recruiting externally. Of course, one advantages is usually it draws upon a wider range of talent and provides the opportunity to bring new experience and ideas into the organization, therefore enhancing creativity and innovation. Kasi nga they are coming from the outside. Okay? With that also, it brings in an opportunity to acquire new skills and competencies not found in the organization, and enables the organization to hire people with knowledge of competitors, secrets, uneasy through arguable and way conducting competitive intelligence gathering. So, yan yung advantage. For disadvantage, one is usually more costly to hire someone from outside. Kasi nga, ang daming, di ba, na-explain naman natin kanina, ang daming activities ng recruitment. So, pag mag-hire ka pa outside, yan, magkakaroon ka talaga ng malaking cost. Next, outsider may not fit into the organization's culture kasi nga they don't know yet what the organization is all about, ano yung culture nila, how does this organization works. Also, the newly hired employee outside could be less effective in actual job than what appears in the paper application and interview. Ano pa ba? Takes longer time to get acclimated to the job and to the organization's culture. Ang tagal nilang mag-adjust na, no, it takes them time to adjust and to be part of the system. Ano pa ba? May demoralize employees who did not get the promotion and adversely affect their commitment levels. So, yun yung mga disadvantages of external recruitment. Let's proceed with your internal recruitment sources. Since sinabi natin kanina that internal recruitment is within the organization, so saan natin yun titingnan? Saan natin kukunin yung mga information na yan? So, we have your HR databases or yung HRIS. And HRIS is also known as, ito yung tinatawag namin na Human Resource Information System. So, dito tayo kukuha ng mga information. Sino ba yung mga taong available having this kind of competencies, meron silang ganitong skill sets, ito yung tinapos nila, meron silang experience na ganito. So, dito natin titingnan. So, your human resource database permits organizations to determine whether current employees possess the qualification for filling or filing open positions. So, as a recruitment device, these databases have proven to be extremely valuable to organizations, and that databases can be valuable in locating talent internally and supporting the concept of promotion from within.